Hey guys, what's up? Welcome back to the video. We have a loaded Batman theory video today for you guys, and I'm so excited to talk about it. I have to show you guys a new Japanese trailer that we got. I'm going to analyze the video for you guys, tell you everything you need to know, breaking it down. We also got some new promotional materials such as a Funko Pop and a Mad Libs paper. On top of that, we got a new theatrical poster type of stand thing that's showing up in AMCs around the world. We also have another test screening update, and then at the very end, I'll be going through some of you guys' comments that you left on the last Batman video. If you guys want some of your comments answered in the next Batman video, make sure to leave your thoughts, comments, questions, theories, anything you want to talk about, just leave it in the comments down below. And before we get into it, if you guys are new in here, make sure to hit that subscribe button and turn notifications on, because I make Batman videos almost every single week and you don't want to miss it. I also review movies, TV shows, I also react to trailers and make other theory videos for a bunch of other stuff. So again, subscribe so you don't miss it. Both always see more time. Let's get into it. So starting it off, I want to show you guys this promotional video. It's a Japanese video that came out. It was just some random trailer. It dropped on Sunday afternoon just randomly, and I loved it. I'm going to be showing you guys the video right now, so I hope you guys enjoy.
Let's play a game.
What's black and blue and dead all over?
世の中を恐怖で支配する最強の知能犯リドラー
If you are justice, please do not lie.
I'm here to unmask the truth about this city.
You're part of this too. How am I part of this? You'll see.
The hell are you supposed to be?
今男の嘘が暴かれる
If this continues, it won't be long before you've nothing left.
Who are you under there?
What is the price for your blind eye?
I got you! I got you! ザ・バットマン
I've been trying to reach you. Grows away.
So now that you guys have seen the video, I do want to break it down. That was super interesting. I also really want to point out that I really love the music that they used. It was like a guitar solo version of the Batman theme, and it's so well done in my opinion. I also love the visuals, not just like the new footage we got, but like when it says let's play a game and it flashes in red, and then it also says vengeance has arrived. That all of the ciphers and all of that just looks so cool in my opinion. But now I want to get to quickly breaking it down. So we started off, and this is probably the most interesting part to me. This is obviously the most Easter egg filled and the thing that's going to obviously tell us the most. So first we see a picture of basically like a plan board for the Riddler. And I know I look crazy with all of these red arrows everywhere on the screen, but trust me, it all makes sense. So first I want to take a look at the photo that we see of the Wayne family. We see Martha Wayne, we see Bruce's dad, and we see Bruce Wayne. Now we can 100% identify who is who. We know the woman is Martha, we know the man is Bruce Wayne's dad, and then we also see Bruce Wayne himself. The reason we know this is Bruce Wayne with his eyes marked out is because the other photos of the Batman, one example is in the top right corner, also has Bruce's eyes X'd out. And then we see someone else in the background, and it looks like Paul Dano's Riddler. It also looks like glasses Paul Dano has worn in past movies such as Prisoners. I'm not saying that obviously it's the same character, but it looks like a young Paul Dano and how a younger Paul Dano would be treated. What makes this even more interesting is that it's written right over this photo, if only I knew then what I know now. I think that Bruce and the Riddler knew each other as children or had some sort of connection, and this proves my theory where we basically think that Bruce and Riddler have known each other since they were kids, whether they were orphans together, whether it was Bruce Wayne's half brother who he never knew about, and now they both care about getting vengeance, but they do it in two completely different ways. This basically proves our theory, Boba Talks and I mean, I'm not gonna take credit for it, but I do believe the theory and I added my own twist to it. So I'd like to say I have a partial input in that theory. Nevertheless, I just think it's super interesting that we have this written on the paper where we see Bruce's eyes crossed out, we see his dad's eyes crossed out, and it looks like Martha Wayne has done nothing wrong to Edward Nashton, the Riddler, because she has no separate photos, she has nothing crossed out on herself, so it looks like she is fine. It doesn't look like she's done anything wrong, and it would make sense for him to want to target his dad, obviously, if he was the dad's kid and he just basically put the kid in an orphanage and didn't care for him. And it also makes sense that he wants to exile Bruce because he's jealous of Bruce, he's jealous of the life that Bruce has lived. Now, another super interesting thing that we see in this little collage of papers and newspapers and photos and stuff like that is we see Wayne spotted reclusive billionaire seen with mystery woman, and then right below that we see a photo of him basically getting out of the car. I think this is in front of the cathedral, the museum, or not the museum, the cathedral where they're having the funeral. And we also saw this shot in the trailer of Selena Kyle leaving a limousine type of thing. It's like in her long black boots. We also seen a behind the scenes photo of her and Falcone at the funeral, but here it says that he was spotted with the mystery woman. So I thought that the cathedral would be the first time that they actually meet person to person. Obviously Selena doesn't know that he's Bruce. I thought this was the first time that they met. I thought that this would be one of the first Riddler traps that are in the movie, with the DOA exploding and like that car with DOA written on it, and then the guy with the bomb strapped to him and all that kind of stuff. And we also see a shot later in the trailer of Bruce looking up at someone in the cathedral, so it looks like the Riddler was there watching all of this unfold, which is even more interesting, which again I'll talk about later. But nevertheless, I just think it's interesting that he arrives there with her. At least that's how the press is putting it. Maybe that's not the case, maybe they just showed up around the same time, so that could be a coincidence, but I don't know, it seems pretty interesting to me. And the final thing from this little board that we see is at the very top on the right hand side, it says orphanage renewal promise fulfilled. Now this is super interesting because we've been seeing this orphanage thing popping up so much. Number one, in the behind the scenes photo, also we know exactly where the orphanage is shot. It's shot in a shut down hospital, some other place, I don't know the exact location, but it's in a shut down hospital that they were shooting at. But on top of this, we've literally seen the main sign for the orphanage where it says renewal on there, so it seems like a Gotham citywide thing. It doesn't just seem like it's a motto that someone's saying, it's on the main sign for the orphanage. We also see one of the scissor reels Commissioner Gordon and Bruce Wayne kicking down the door to the orphanage and going in there, so maybe they're trying to find something from Riddler's past, something along those lines. But from what we're seeing right now, the orphanage is going to play a massive role, and again, this ties directly into the theory of Bruce having connections to the orphanage, and so does Riddler and even Catwoman to an extent. Everything can lead back to the orphanage, especially when they're putting such a big emphasis on this whole renewal thing. Alright guys, so I'm currently editing the video and I just realized something absolutely massive, and I just saw this, my friend also texted it to me, and we can see in the background of one of the photos on this like newspaper collage thing, we literally see some like smile face behind the Batman. Now it's in two separate photos. One of them is just a zoomed in version of the other photo, so it's the same thing. I think this is just an Easter egg, but it looks like the Joker's smile. I'm not saying it's the Joker. We have literally zero confirmation that it could be the Joker, but the possibility is there. It looks like a joke. It looks like a smile. Okay, we can't say it's not a smile because it looks 100% like a smile. At the end of the day, it has to be something or someone, whether it's an Easter egg or actually part of the movie. It has to be something. And when I put it up against Barry Keoghan's smile that I found a picture of online, you can tell it kind of looks similar. So I'm not saying it's the Joker. I'm not saying it's Barry Keoghan. I'm not saying that it's actually alluding to anything important, but it's just a possibility. But back to the video. But the next thing I want to talk about is the rat trap, and this was a rumor that had been going around for a very long time, and we finally have it somewhat confirmed, where we see the rat trap inside of this layer that we see for the Riddler in the trailer. I'm just super excited for this because obviously we know it's not going to be an R-rated movie. We already see kids toys. I think it's already been confirmed that it's not R-rated, but it seems like they're really going to be pushing the limits, and I'm so excited for this. I don't think any of the future Batman movies are going to be rated R, sadly. I would love to see at least one from this trilogy PG rated R. I don't think they're gonna do it, but nevertheless, the fact that they're pushing the limits this much and this rat trap rumor is true makes me so excited. Now, the next photo, this is the second to last photo from this whole breakdown segment of the video, but we see Bruce Wayne basically looking up at a hidden figure in the cathedral. This is during the funeral. I'm assuming this is right after the guy comes in with the bomb strapped to him, and we hear the audio behind this say, "How am I a part of this?"
You're part of this too.
How am I part of this?
You'll see.
I think that this shows that Riddler's face is going to be hidden for most of the movie. I think that for most of this movie, Riddler is going to be a mystery to both us and the Batman, but I feel like Bruce will eventually figure it out, but we still might not know. I feel like it's going to be a massive reveal for the audience, and maybe even when Bruce finds out, he'll recognize the Riddler, and he'll recognize the fact that he knew Edward Nashton before, and that's why all of this could connect via them being orphans together, them knowing each other as children. We've seen the photo. It looks like it's Edward Nashton as a kid. Nevertheless, again, I do think the face will be hidden for most of this movie, and I think that a big twist will be that the reveal for the Riddler, the fact that it will be Edward Nashton, will be a reveal for the Batman himself. That's my theory right now. But finally, this is not more of a breakdown type of thing, but it's a question that I'm asking to you guys. So I'm putting this photo up on screen right now. We see Pete Savage, who's one of the people running for mayor, or I think he is mayor, one of the two. We see him in like some photograph thing with this other guy. I don't know who this is, but let me know who you think it is in the comments down below. It could just be another thug, so I could just be overreacting, but I think it's pretty interesting, and they definitely show this to show something. I don't know what they were showing, but it's something. But yeah, guys, that's basically it for this breakdown and the video analysis for the Japanese trailer that we got for Batman. Now we're going to be going on to talk about some new promotional items that we have. So we have two new promotional items. This first one is a Mad comic. I think it's Mad Libs. I don't know, but it's pretty interesting. I don't think it's anything that crazy, but it basically shows the Batman on top of a gargoyle, and the gargoyle is like the Mad mascot type of thing. I don't know what this means. I don't think it has any real context, but I just wanted to show it to you guys. And this next one, this one is a very, very interesting to me. This is our first ever look at a Batman Funko Pop. This absolutely looks stunning in my opinion. I think this is part of like the car set, and I think that they have a bunch of like automobile sets in the whole Funko Pop type of thing. So I'm probably not going to get this specific one because I think the car is too big, but I'll definitely be getting Funko Pops of just the Batman, strictly because look at that stitching on the helmet. It is so perfectly done. You can see the detail around the eyes. You can see the details around the nose, which we can also see in the trailer. So it looks like they were paying attention to detail. It seems like all this is super important because maybe the whole aspect of Bruce making all of the suits and all that kind of stuff is going to be a huge part of this movie, and maybe it's not. Maybe someone else could be making the suits for him. It looks like they're putting a lot of emphasis on the hand stitched part and the little details of the suit, so I think that's what makes this Funko Pop so interesting for me. Other than that, the car looks great. The Batmobile looks absolutely phenomenal, but we've known that. I've had this Hotmobiles toy for a while now, and I already know that it looks stunning as hell. I'm not taking it out of the box just yet, but just the engine and everything looks so good to me, and I'm just excited to see what they do with this model of car, like how much more detail they can get. I know Hasbro dropped a whole RC car. It's a little too expensive. It's a little out of my budget, but they're still dropping a lot of stuff for the Batmobile itself, so I'm excited to see what else they drop Funko Pop wise, promotional material wise. But speaking of promotionals, we do have one massive promotional thing that, like I said in the beginning of this video, has been popping up in AMC's around the world, and that is this promotional poster slash statue thing for the Batman. We see the Batman logo, and it looks like one of the banners that the Batman account posted, where we see the Batman walking in the middle of the M. You can see it on screen right now, but what's super interesting is in the bottom left corner, you can see a little decipher. I had no clue what this decipher meant, and I just found this randomly on Twitter. So again, if you know who made this or who deciphered this, check the comments down below. So this decipher translates to "You are El Rata Alada," which means you are the winged rat. I don't know what rat specifically means, but I think there has to be some symbolism behind the whole rat thing going on, because we also know that the rat trap was a big rumor. We saw the rat trap thing in the video analysis for the Japanese trailer. So I think that the Riddler is going to be calling the Batman a rat, maybe because he's infesting the city, and maybe he's infesting the city with people who are actually being inspired. I know I might be thinking too deep about it, but it kind of makes sense because the Batman might be the only thing giving Gotham hope through all this corruption and all this downfall. The Batman is the rat spreading this, what the Riddler might think is a disease, to all of these people, giving all of these people hope, and again, to the Riddler, hope and just thinking of goodness might be a disease. Again, might be reading into it a little bit too much, but I think it was really interesting. I'm also happy with the promotional material so far. Not only the Funko Pops, not only that Mad magazine thing, but just this statue thing that's in the theater. I'm going to my AMC to watch Spider-Man No Way Home this weekend, and I really hope I see this statue poster thing because I'm so excited. But yeah, again, I'm loving the direction that they're taking this promotional material. I'm liking that they're putting ciphers on the promotional material itself. Hopefully we get something bigger, but I think this being small, the "You Are a Winged Rat," that's very interesting. It's just a small little tidbit, and I read into it a lot, but I just think it's pretty interesting overall as a marketing tactic. But now I have a quick update for test screenings. So Culture Crave tweeted the other day, Warner Brothers was testing 2 different cuts of the Batman, one with a certain actor, one without. The final test screening occurred last week, with the decision now made as to which version the studio likes. Now this is coming even further from The Hollywood Reporter, which is a very reliable news source, and they've reported a lot about the Batman, so I do believe this. Now this is very interesting because in the last The Batman video where we talked about the final test screenings, viewer Annan specifically said that Barry Keoghan was in the newest test screener for the Batman. But we also had another issue from BSL, and BSL said Warner Brothers is debating whether to tease more sequel bait or kind of make this movie one thing on its own. And with Barry Keoghan being rumored to be the Joker and Barry Keoghan not being in the first cut, it proves that Barry Keoghan is a big player in this Batman franchise. Whether he's the Mad Hatter or the Joker, he's a big player here, and he's either the Mad Hatter or the Joker. I don't think there's anything else. Stanley Merkel, big character, great character. I don't think Barry Keoghan's going to be playing Stanley Merkel. I think that this proves that Barry Keoghan will either be cut from this Batman movie or he'll be in it. And when he's cut from it, I don't think that he's not going to be in it completely. I think that they'll probably move him to like a post-credit scene or something like that, because the first screening didn't have the post-credit scene, the second one did, and the second one did have Barry Keoghan apparently, so it wouldn't make sense. So they could probably just cut him from the second screening and then move him to a second post-credit scene or something along the lines like that. But I think this 100% proves Barry Keoghan was in the second cut of the movie. But honestly, I don't know if he's 100% gonna get cut, because obviously Warner Brothers hasn't come out with a statement saying we like this first one better than the second one. Like, they're not gonna say that. So if Warner Brothers like the sequel baiting and stuff like that, which I'm assuming they did because it would automatically drive more traffic to even more people talking about the Batman 2, maybe they'll leave Barry Keoghan in it. And honestly, I wouldn't mind either way. If he's not in the movie itself, again, I think he'll be in one of the 2 post-credit scenes. But now I want to go through some comments that you guys left on the last Batman video. Again, if you want me to answer some of your comments, theories, questions, anything you want to say about the Batman, and you want me to respond, make sure to leave it in the comments down below and I'll make sure to get to it. But this first one is from Moon. He said, this isn't a question, but more so an idea they can do for Mr. Freeze. Idea: instead of having Mr. Freeze have ice powers or a freeze gun, I think it would be cool if he starts out as a scientist / doctor at Arkham Asylum that uses needles and syringes to freeze or paralyze Arkham inmates. Obviously the film would go more in depth in the science of it all. The reason why he's doing this is so he can find a cure for his wife. He justifies these acts because he believes that inmates have their chances in life and that his wife should be the one to live, even if it means sacrificing the inmates to do so. I feel this could fit in the Matt Reeves universe, also keeping the essence of who Mr. Freeze is. So this is in context of the last video where I talked about I'm not sure how fantastical this universe is going to get, and if they are going to keep it super grounded, I think this would be a really good way to do it. But at the same time, even if they want to go fantastical, I think this would be a great way to do it as well, just because they can make Mr. Freeze fantastical once he gets the powers and stuff. His origin, it can always be grounded. You can even make Killer Croc's origin grounded because you can just make him someone mutated, but it's what they do with these powers and what they do with their skill set that either will make them fantastical or grounded. And I do think that Mr. Freeze should be a fantastical hero. I mean, a fantastical villain. I don't think that they should change his character enough to make him grounded. I think everything will work fantastical, but I do like what you said because it slowly transforms a villain into being with a grounded origin to being a fantastical villain. Now, this next comment is from Malcolm Gambles II. He said, I'm so hyped for this movie. The Riddler playing a part in this movie could really make this movie an entire puzzle that the Batman has to solve. Just the chase and possibilities alone in this movie could bring what makes me want to watch it. Love the videos, man. Keep it up. Thank you so much for the comment, and I appreciate that you watch the videos. I also want to say that the fact that this movie could be a massive puzzle for the Batman to solve is something I'm so excited for. That's why the reason I'm most hyped for this movie is because it feels like it's gonna be like a Saw movie with Zodiac and superheroes. Like, it's every good part of every single thriller, horror, horror suspense movie combined into one, and that's why I'm so excited. I'm also really excited because the whole detective aspect of Batman has never completely been touched on. It always feels like it's super sidelined, and I'm really excited to see it in this one, especially since they're going to lean so heavily into it. And we also know from the first test screener, apparently the final battle for this movie isn't something super extravagant and massive, and I love my extravagant and massive finales. I loved Eternals, I love Shang-Chi, I even love Avengers and Endgame and Infinity War's final battles. They're so massive in scale, but the Batman, even if it is a more grounded mental battle within Bruce, I wouldn't mind if the whole movie has that tone. One of my issues with Shang-Chi was it felt like the tone drastically changed way too fast. So I'm excited to see what tones this movie goes through in the first, second, and third act, and how it transforms into the final battle, whether they want to make it fantastical, whether they want to make it super grounded. From what we know, it's super grounded. Like, it's crazily, it's like it's a mental battle apparently, and so that's what makes me so excited, and that's where the whole puzzling aspect comes in. It's like, if they do this the whole movie, I really wouldn't mind, and that's again what makes me super excited. Now this next comment is from Walking L. He said, here's what I hope we get for the future sequels. My wish: Batman 2, Batman vs. Mr. Freeze; Batman 3, Batman vs. Joker; and Batman 4, final movie, Batman and Robin versus the Court of Owls. I just think this is very interesting. I've never actually been through what I specifically want in every single movie, and I really don't do this just because I don't want to, like, not even expectations. I don't want to create a theory on something that I have no clue what's going to happen. Like, all of my future sequel wishes even just come about from the fact that if Joker is even in this movie. But nevertheless, I think Batman 2, I would love to see Mr. Freeze. I would love to see even Killer Croc for a little bit. 3 villains is a little too much, maybe like 1 or 2, but I still think 2 is a good enough number. I think it's valid. Now, I think for your idea for Batman 3, Batman versus Joker, I think that would be interesting, but I would love to see Batman and Robin versus Joker, and the Joker could mentally torment the Batman so much that Robin sees the Batman break down, and at the end of the movie it could end on a cliffhanger where the Joker basically like kills Robin, and then in the 4th movie Robin can come back obviously, and then Batman and him can go against the Court of Owls and Joker. So it'll kind of be a redemption for Robin's arc, as well as battling the biggest bad when it comes to corruption in Gotham in the Court of Owls. Okay, so I'm not going to read out this entire comment, but I do appreciate the thoroughness of this comment, and I appreciate how much effort you put in, but I'm going to put it on screen for you guys right now to read. I'm not going to read it out loud. I already read it, and I really like this theory. My only issue is that I don't really like the multiple Riddlers theory. That's my biggest issue, is because I feel like there needs to be one Riddler for it to be a super personal connection. But I do like what you said about the Riddler and Joker theory. I just feel like they shouldn't really be like orphaned brothers. I feel like that's too close of a connection, because I want the Riddler to be his own thing and I want the Joker to be his own thing, right? But I would love for them to have interacted and maybe like take ideas and like somewhat inspiration from each other, and maybe the Riddler's trying to live up to the Joker. And like I said, I think it was 2 videos ago where I talked about Barry Keoghan as the Joker. I would love to see Batman already have fought the Joker, and that's what this comment says. He says, being a year 2 Batman could have already fought the Joker in Arkham. But I also do like the idea of the Joker trying to find his own persona, because the Riddler's already taken so much of it to the public, whereas the Joker hasn't been able to embarrass or torment the Batman in the public for so long. So the Joker has to find an even crazier and just another step up way to basically beat out what the Riddler did to the Batman. At the end, he says the confusion that could be caused by them working together can make a masterful puzzle for him to solve, and add a lot of intriguing features to the film. I'm so jacked to see this film no matter what happens. I agree with you there on both parts. I'm super hyped to watch this movie, but also I think it would be a great way, like that's like the only way I would agree with your idea, is that them working so closely together would confuse the Batman so much, which I think would be a really good idea. But at the same time, it's like I would want the Riddler to be more of his own character and the Joker to be more of his own character more than causing a lot of confusion to the Batman, which I already think there's going to be a lot of confusion, because I feel like the Joker is going to take elements of what the Riddler did but take it to the way higher level. But at the same time, I just feel like, again, I just don't want them to be that close. I don't want their characters to be that close. I want them to be 2 individual villains. Now, this final comment I want to go over is from SM4 Carnage. I hope. He said, Matt Reeves also said a while back that it does take place in the DC universe, so there are other superheroes, just won't be seeing them. There's also a Halloween party and set photos that have guests dressed as Justice League members. This is very interesting. I talked about this a while ago. I think it was after the second trailer trailer dropped, when my friend and I were breaking it down shot by shot, we slightly talked about this, and I think it was very interesting because I'm glad that the other heroes exist, but they're just not interfering within Gotham, and I'm excited for that strictly because of the fact that I feel like adding in other heroes to the Gotham mix really makes Batman seem a lot more lame. We literally saw that in the DCEU. We have gods like Superman and Wonder Woman fighting. It's like, at that point, why would I even care for the Batman if I could just get a dude that's invincible unless it's kryptonite, which is super rare in the first place, who has laser eyes and super strength and can fly. Entertainment wise, Superman is way more fun to watch when he's on the same screen as Batman, so I might as well watch Batman on his own, and that's why I'm really happy that Matt Reeves isn't going for adding all of these random heroes and all these random elements, and it's like, it's just the Batman. It's the Batman's rogues gallery, it's the Batman's side characters, it's a Batman universe. That's why I like to call it a Batverse. But that's it for this theory video, guys. I know this is one on the longer side, but I'm so unbelievably excited for this movie. We're under 3 months away. I cannot wait. I'm trying my hardest to get to watch this movie early. I don't know how possible it will be, but if I do get to, it's all thanks to you guys, and you guys have been blowing up the Batman videos lately, and I have so much fun making them. So I'm going to bring a lot more Batman content when new stuff comes out. I could not pass up on this opportunity to show you guys the Japanese trailer video, break it down, also talk about all the new promotional stuff, a new theater statue poster, the test screenings update, and also the comments. Again, also thank us for all the comments on the videos. I really do appreciate it. And again, if you want me to answer some of your comments in the next video, make sure to drop them in the comments down below. Again, that's it for this video. Subscribe to the channel so you don't miss any time I have a new video or I go live. Thank you so much for watching. I'll see you next time. Peace.